So for the deck tech this week, we have, of course, a red mono-red deck from N15, all N15 cards, including our favorite Planeswalker, my favorite Planeswalker here, Chandra the Pyromaster. I'm pretty sure if she had a Pokemon, she would have at least one Charizard, because that is such a hurt to have a pseudo-dragon fire-breathing Pokemon, obviously. So yes, I also like Pokemon, and I do play Charizard all the time because, like, I do like fire. So anyway, back to Magic and not Pokemon. So yeah, I've got a cool deck tech I've lined up. It has very few creatures, which is weird for me to be playing, and it's more of a mid-ish rangey deck, mid-aggro-y. I don't know. It's got a lot of burn and stuff like that, so yeah, I'm really excited to share it with you, and I'm really excited to play with it some more because it's pretty sweet. So, speaking of our land base, we have 22 mountains, and that's it because I like basic stuff, and mountains are awesome. Yes, play mountains. So, 22 mountains. Our creature base, there's only very few of these, like I said. It's not a very big creature base, but I have 3 copies of Generator Servant because why not? 2 mana for a 2/1 that if you tap it and sacrifice it, you get to add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool, and if it's used on a creature, it gets haste, because who doesn't want to do that? That is so awesome, because haste is so much fun. So much fun! So I've got 3 copies of that. I also have 4 copies of Krenko's Enforcer. This is a 3 mana, 1 colorless, 2 red for a 2/2, but it has Intimidate, which I like this a lot because there's well, Intimidate means that nothing but the color it is can block it. So nothing but red creatures can block this, which is pretty sweet since there's a lot of huge green creatures that'll just get in your way. This just bashes right through them, which is awesome. I also include 3 copies of Paragon of Fierce Defiance. I have the other 3 in my other 3 decks. I figured why not continue the trend. And this gives all your red creatures +1/+1, which I like, giving my creatures more. And you can pay a red mana, tap it to give another creature haste until end of turn, which is sweet. Especially if you can get something big out, and it's awesome. So it costs 4 mana, 3 colorless and a red, and it's only a 2/2 body, but like I said, other creatures get +1/+1, and you can give a creature haste that turn. That's pretty awesome. I'm good with that. I also include 3 copies of Soul of Shandalar. This is a giant, big, baddie avatar, and he's huge. It costs 6 mana, 4 colorless, 2 red, but it is a 6/6. It also has First Strike. Yay! I like First Strike. And what you can do is you can pay 5 mana to deal 3 damage to target player and 3 damage to target creature that player controls. While it's on the battlefield, it just has that automatically. You can also pay 5 mana and exile it from the graveyard to do the exact same thing. 3 damage to player, 3 damage to a creature that player controls, which is awesome. I love this because your opponent's going to have a way to get rid of it, because if they don't, they're dead. So they're going to have a way to get rid of it. It's going to be put in the graveyard at some point, and then you can use it, exile it, and get those last 3 points of damage through or whatever you need to do with it. It's awesome. 3 copies of those. So yes, that's the entire creature base. There's only 13 in there, which, like, I usually go mono aggro creatures, and so that's really weird for me. But I make up for it with a lot of burn and removal and just damage straight to the face and whatnot. So I have 3 copies of Infernal Fist, 2 mana for an enchantment aurora. You can pay, so your enchanted creature gets +2/+0, which is awesome. You can also pay a red mana and sack this card to deal 2 damage to a target creature or player, which is awesome because if your opponent's going to kill the creature it's attached to, you can still get something useful out of it, which is pretty sweet. But since it is an enchantment, it does create that possibility of getting 2 for 1 by your opponent, which isn't as awesome, but if you do have the red mana available, you can still use it and get your money's worth out of it, basically. So I really like that card, because it does have that fact that I can save it pretty much. I also include 4 copies of Lightning Strike, because if you have a red deck and you don't have Lightning Strike in it, it's an awesome card. 2 mana, 1 colorless and a red, to deal 3 damage to target creature or player. So it's great because you don't have to have a creature on the board. Your opponent doesn't have to have a creature that you can target. You can deal damage straight to their face. 2 mana for 3 damage is a fantastic, fantastic rate. It's such a good card. I love it. I play it pretty much in whatever set it's printed because it's really, really good. Yes, really good card. I also include Heat Ray. What you do is you pay X plus a red mana, and you get to deal X damage to target creature, which is pretty awesome. It does create the possibility that you won't be able to use it if you're playing against a more control-y deck that doesn't maybe have very many creatures, that none are out. So it can be a problem because you can't do that damage to a player, but it still works and you're able to pay mana basically right in line with whatever creature you're going to kill, which is awesome. So that's really good. I also include 3 copies of Seismic Strike. It's a 3 mana, 2 colorless and a red, and it deals damage equal to the number of mountains you control to target creature, which if it's early in the game, they'll probably only have small creatures out, so this will be okay. If it's later in the game, you're going to have bigger creatures out, and you're going to have more red mana out, so it's going to do a lot more damage and hopefully kill those giant creatures that are in your way, which is pretty awesome. I also include 4 copies of Stoke the Flames. I played this in my promo, I played this in a deck, pre-release, it was my pre-release deck. I had a copy of this and it was awesome. It's 4 mana, 2 colorless, 2 red. It also comes with Convoke, which is pretty awesome because there are some small red creatures that you can play out and stuff like that and use them to tap for mana, great. But it deals 4 damage to target creature or player. So 4 damage for 4 mana is pretty good, but usually you can get it for less if you're playing. If you have those creatures out, you can do the Convoke and get it for less and get it out earlier, and it's awesome. Plus, dealing 4 damage to your opponent in the face is such a great feeling. I like it a lot. So I have that. I also include 4 copies of Coon of Flame because this card is amazing. Oh my goodness. It does cost 5 mana, 3 colorless, 2 red, so it's a little expensive, but it deals 1 damage to target creature or player, and then 2 damage to target another target creature or player, and then 3 damage to another target creature or player. You're paying 5 mana for 6 damage. It's awesome. And the best part is you can just spread it out however you like. It's so good. I love this card. So I put all 4 copies that I could in there because, yes, why not? And finally, the last 3 spots in this deck of our course 4 are little Planeswalker here, Chandra, Pyromaster. 4 mana, 2 colorless, 2 red. She starts off with 4 loyalty. Your +1 is pretty awesome. You get to deal 1 damage to target player and 1 damage to target creature, and it can't block this turn, which is great. So good. Your 0 ability, you get to exile the top card of your library, and then you can play it that turn if you have the mana for it, which is kind of dangerous and flighty, which is awesome. I really like it. It's so good. So good! It just is dangerous and very fire related. I like that. And your -7 ability, you get to exile the top 10 cards of your library, pick one of them, and you get to copy it 3 times without playing the mana cost and choose different targets for each. It's pretty sweet, especially since this has a lot of instants and sorceries, so you're more than likely going to be hitting something pretty sweet. So yeah, if you can get like a Cone of Flame, copy that 3 times, that's like what? 6 times 3 is 18 damage to 9 different targets. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So yeah, this is my red deck. I probably may change it around a little bit, maybe add a few more creatures into it, but I and maybe some Act on Impulse, because that's always just fun to have those in there, because that card's cool. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to play some more with this deck, but let me know what you think of it in the comments below, like this video, and subscribe for more.